want to welcome you all to week 1 of our Learning Garden planting kit. Really excited about this project. We've been working on it really hard for the past couple weeks, getting it all set up and getting everything that you all need to get going on this, to have a really good time. So we've got a really good community, folks from as far as Alaska, folks from local Kansas City. So it's really taken hold, and we're really excited to get going. So use this opportunity. If there are things that I don't address, or if you have questions, other people probably have those same questions, throw them out, let's answer them. I can answer them, other people in the community can answer them. So if you have questions, please ask them, put them out there so we can make sure that you're successful with this. So let's go ahead and get started. If you got your kit locally here in Kansas City, it's going to look like this: a green bag with all the stuff in it and a bag of potting mix. Now if you got it delivered or shipped to you, it will just be the green bag here. You have to get your own potting mix. We did not ship that, so make sure you've got that ready to go. The other things that you're going to need that are not included: a pair of scissors to open your bag. We'll want to get a pen or a marker so we can mark our stick tags so we know what we're planting and can keep track of that. And then towards the end you'll need some sort of a watering can to water your seeds in. So those are the 3 things that you'll need to get going. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to open our bag and get everything out and organized. So inside this bag you're going to have some peat pots. Some folks have square peat pots, some folks have round peat pots. That doesn't matter. The fact that matters is that you've got 6 peat pots ready to go. If you had yours delivered, again, the only difference is you're going to have a peat pellet. We're going to go a little bit different as we get through. I'll show you how to take care of that, and Brian's going to work with the pellets next week. But a peat pellet if you had it delivered, so that'll be the only difference there. You've got seed packets. Should have 8 seed packets marked with different numbers. Set those aside for right now. I'll explain what those numbers mean. You'll have some stick tags. These are for marking what we're planting, so we know what we planted, where we planted it, and when we planted it. I'll get information. So we'll set those aside. And then we have a little cup with some fertilizer. This is an organic fertilizer. We'll be using that later as we get going. Okay, so I like to open this bag up. Then I'm going to take my potting mix. We're going to be using the whole bag of potting mix. So I'm going to show you a couple tricks here on how to use that. The best way to do that is stand it up, give it a little bit of a shake, and then you probably need some help opening the bag, but just cut the top off the bag. And then we're going to dump it into our green bag here. Now, we're going to use it all, and it's kind of a trick to get it all in there, but you just kind of dump it in. And usually what I do when I get the bag about halfway or 2/3 of the way empty, when it looks like my green bag's getting a little bit full, I'll stop, shut it down like that, and then I'll just give this bag, lift it up, give it a little bit of a wiggle, and give it a little drop. Not a drop from a 5 feet up in the sky. You want to drop it from about 6 inches like that. That'll just help settle the soil, get it around into all the edges, and get it all settled down. Then we'll go ahead and fill with the rest of our bag. You may need to do that a couple times. I'm going to give it another wiggle here real quick. There we go. Give it a drop. We do not want to compress this soil, so I don't want you pushing down and trying to squeeze it in. We want to have it nice and loose. That's going to make it easier for those plant roots to go around, especially when these little seeds are trying to get germinated. Those roots need air and they need room to spread out, so we don't want to push it down. We just want to give it a little wiggle, just a small drop, and then if you just need to smooth it out on the inside, that's what we'll do. Okay, so we've got our bag, we've got soil in it. The next thing we need to do is all those peat pots, we want to fill those up. So I just take those one at a time, dip them in, and again, give them a little wiggle, give it a little drop, shake it down just a little bit, and you'll see how some of that soil settles in there. We want it just right below the rim. So we're going to do that with all 6 of our pots. Dip them in, give them a little shake, give them a little tap, set them off to the side. So we got that 6 times. Okay, got 3 more here and I'll be ready. And if you had, if your square pots came in a row, you can leave them in the row if you want, or you can cut them apart. It does not matter. Okay, so our 6 peat pots, we're going to set those aside. Brian's going to work with those next week, so we're not going to do anything with those this week. So let's just set them aside for right now. Now I've got my pot, I kind of made a mess of it. I made a little indentation in it, so to get it flattened out again, I'm just going to give it a little wiggle. Just like that. Now we're ready to go. Just smooth it out. Don't push it down. Just smooth it out real nice. Okay, our next thing. Seed packets. You have seed packets that are numbered. There are no names on that. We did that for a reason. We want to keep this kind of fun for you guys. So what I want you to do is sort through and find seed number 1, 2, and 3. There's 3, there's 2, and there's 1. Okay, I'm going to set the others off to the side. We're not going to use those until next week. Okay. The first thing I like to do when I am planting seeds is I have a terrible memory, and so I like to write down what I'm planting and when I'm planting it. That way I know if I go back to look at it in 2 weeks, oh my goodness, what did I plant? When did I plant it? I know it's there. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to make 3 stick tags. My first stick tag is going to say radish. Radish, and I'm going to put today's date on it. Okay? And then I'm going to make a second one that says lettuce. Lettuce. Okay, and I'm going to put today's date on it. And my last one is going to be spinach. And today's date. Okay, now I've got all my stick tags ready. Now I'm going to take seed packet number 1. Seed packet number 1. I'm going to go to my bag. What I want to do is divide this bag into thirds. So we have 1/3 of each of these crops. So we've got radish, lettuce, and spinach, as you can imagine. So I'm just going to make just a little bit of a line. I like to stick my finger right in the middle so I know where it is. And I'll just divide this gently into thirds, just so you can kind of see where you're going to be planting things. So you can kind of see how I've just made a nice little light line. That way I've got about a third of each one. Okay? Now I'm going to take my pinky, and you see the fingernail on your pinky. I'm going to make a light depression that only goes down to about that pinky nail, where that pinky nail ends. That's about how deep I want. Pretty shallow. So just really gently making a depression in the soil. I'm going to try and make about 10 or 12 of these depressions in the soil. Okay, just real gentle. Don't have to push down. The soil, this mix here is very light, so you just push down a little bit. It's really easy. Okay, open it up carefully, and inside you'll have, you'll have radish seeds. Okay, carefully dump them all out into your hand like that. And we're just going to put 1 to 2 radish seeds in each little depression that we've made. We'll start with 1, and if we have some extra, we can go back and put a second one in each hole. Okay. Okay, if I have some extra, I'll just throw them back in the pack. We can use those later for a fall garden. So we'll save those for later. Okay, so now I have my radish seeds in there, 1 to 2 radish seeds in each hole. And now to close them, I just want to gently pinch those holes closed. So if you just put your fingers on the outside and just squeeze gently, you'll just squeeze and cover the seeds with a little bit of potting mix. You want them really shallow. Our goal is to be about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch deep, so really shallow on these seeds. So we're just pinching them closed just to put a little bit of soil over the top. Then, once we've done it, make sure you mark. Use your radish tag that we just made, put it over in the corner so we know, hey, we planted radishes there, we planted them on today's date, and we can be ready to go so we know how long it takes for those to germinate. Okay, number 2, we're going to do the same thing. Again, pinky finger, just a light depression. We're going to do about 10 or 12 of those depressions. You want them about 1 inch or 2 inches apart is fine with those. No real worries if you're a little bit wider. Okay, so this one, number 2, is lettuce. These seeds are really small. Okay, these are kind of hard to work with. Okay, so lettuce seeds. Again, we'll just put them in the palm of my hand. And then what I'm going to want to do is just drop, now these are harder, so we're going to do 2 or 3 seeds in each hole. So we'll just kind of drop those in. 2 or 3 seeds in each hole. Like that. Okay. If we have extra seeds, let's go ahead and put them back, because we can use lettuce again in the fall. Now with the lettuce, I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to pinch those holes closed. I'm going to leave it open like that. Lettuce needs to be really shallow to germinate, so I'm going to leave it like that, and when we water, that will actually be enough soil covering it to have them germinate. So do not pinch those closed, but do mark it. Make sure we've got our mark on there, lettuce. Put that over the edge so we know what that's lettuce. Okay, finally, number 3, same thing, pinky finger. Make about 10 or 12 depressions in that soil. That. Open our packet. This one is spinach. Okay, spinach. I like to start with a couple seeds in each hole, in each depression. 1 to 2 seeds, and then if we have some extra, I might put a second or third in each one. Spinach doesn't germinate as well as some of the other seeds do, so I go a little bit heavy with that. Plus I like spinach. It's good for you and it makes it good and strong, so I like a little extra spinach. Okay, extra seeds again back in the pack. We can use those again in the fall. Try and get them all back in there. These I am going to pinch closed, so again, just fingers on the outside, just squeezing the soil, the hole closed. So just a little bit of soil. Again, we want 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of soil on top. So just a nice little squeeze, gentle squeeze. And then again, we're going to mark this with spinach with today's date. Put that in the corner. Hey, we're ready. We've got this planted. Now, the next thing, we want to put a little water on this here. I'm going to take this down to the floor here. Floor, follow me. So when you're watering at home, you're going to want to do this outside or in a garage. You don't want to do this on the kitchen table. Mom's not going to be very happy if you do that. So take it outside, take it somewhere where you can make a little bit of a mess. I like a watering can with, this is called a breaker. And what this does is this, instead of a stream of water, this makes like a gentle rain. So if you've got one of those, that's the best way to go. If you're watering with a cup or something like that, you have to be really careful. You don't want to disturb the seeds. If you just dump water in here, it'll make a big giant mess and seeds will go everywhere. So you have to be very gentle if you're watering with a cup or something like that. But if you've got a can like this, that's the best. And then just a gentle stream like this. You want to make sure you get the whole top of the soil wet. So I usually do a little bit of a dance around the side and get it wet like this. And then what I like to do is wait. You can watch as the water moves down into the soil. And I watch until it's all gone. I'll maybe wait for, 15 or 20 seconds. And what's happening is that water's moving down into that pot. It's getting water down deeper into the roots, or into where the roots are going to be. Now, remember, we just planted seeds, so there are no roots in there. So we don't need a lot of water in this pot. We don't need to fill it full because there are no roots there to need that water. So we're just going to water it a little bit, make sure that seed gets started. And then I'm just going to top it off with just a little bit more water. Make sure it's got a good first watering. Now, when you're watering, your first watering like this, you want to make sure it gets good and thoroughly watered. Now, you're going to want to check it every day. That doesn't mean you need to water it every day. If you're putting it out in the sun and it's really warm outside, they may need to be watered every day. If it's going in a garage or if it's going inside or on a patio where it doesn't get sun all day or it's a little bit cooler, it may not need water every day. Too much water is not good, although not enough water is even worse, but too much water is also not good. So a light watering, when that surface of that soil gets dry and crusty, you want to make sure you get some water on that. Seeds, once they start growing, once they germinate, they don't stop, and so they're going to need that water. So a light water. Okay, now where do we put this? So I'm going to put mine outside here in Kansas City. Today it's really nice. We've got a cold night coming up here this week. It's supposed to be in the 30s. I'm not too worried about that. If it gets below about 35, I'm going to want to bring it in, set it up near a house or in a garage overnight or up on a porch, somewhere where it's going to be a little bit protected. Definitely if it gets below freezing or 32, I'm going to bring it in somewhere where it's going to be a little bit warmer. But we should be fine setting them outside and just letting them go outside. You're going to want to find a sunny spot. Okay, sunny spot means it's going to dry out a little faster, but a sunny spot is best for starting these seeds. Okay, so we've got our bag, we've got it started. All of our remaining stuff that we're going to have here, Brian's going to talk about next week, getting all of these pots started, what the rest of these seeds are. We're going to talk about fertilizer later on in the course because we don't need that right now. The seeds don't need that when they're germinating. We'll use that a little bit later. So we're all set. I'm really excited. So now we just have to wait and watch. It'll be a little bit before these seeds germinate. Your first ones are probably going to be radish or lettuce, so maybe by next week we'll have something germinating. If so, we'll take a good look at it and see what's going on. But right now, watered in, all set. Now just watch it and enjoy it.